What's up, everybody? This is the Raven who likes to rant. Today's topic is going to be on a certain character from Dragon Ball Z. Now, Dragon Ball Z isn't really a topic I talk about too much unless I feel like I'm in the mood or if I have to, and obviously this is one of those moments. And the character of honor today is Future Trunks. Now, since the Goku Black arc, a lot of people felt that Future Trunks was not portrayed well. A lot of people actually hate it. They hate the ending. They think that he was pretty much a pussy punk bitch. But in this video, I'm actually going to defend him, and I'm going to say that he's not exactly as bad as people think he is in Super. And I feel like there's a beauty to this. There's a beauty to his character and who he is. In order for people to actually get this, they have to understand Trunks as a whole, from his birth all the way until now. Now, it's clear that he was way too fucking young to build a relationship with the Z Fighters and, including his father, Vegeta. When they died, he didn't see it. So it's not a thing that he can say, I sat there and watched them be killed. He didn't have that kind of attachment. Future Gohan was always there for him. He was literally like a father figure. He was his master. He was raising him. He was training him to become stronger to fight the androids. And obviously because of this, Trunks had to see a fuckload of death. This was his life from that point on. And when Gohan died, it makes sense why he was so angry, why it triggered his Super Saiyan transformation in the movie / the Dragon Ball Super flashback. There was so much emotion to this because he knew Gohan. Gohan was always there for him. Then he goes into complete stubborn mode, forgetting that the androids can whip his ass, and he tries to fight him anyways. What happens? He gets his ass kicked. He almost dies. So at this point, he has the mentality of a teen because he's still 18. Makes sense. So he gets a little older, goes back in time, warns everybody, you know how that goes. And even then he was still freaking out because nobody capitalized on the moment to destroy the androids before they were awakened. So when they were awakened, everybody got their ass kicked, but they were spared. Eventually Trunks got the chance to train with Vegeta in the time chamber and got the Ultra Super Saiyan form. Vegeta let Cell transform, got his ass kicked. Trunks came with his Ultra Super Saiyan form, and Cell was way too fucking fast, and he couldn't do anything about it. And then the Cell games was announced, and everybody was training and shit. Trunks dies during the Cell games, but they bring him back. Now, the interesting thing about this is Trunks did age in the time chamber, but mentally he wasn't on the level of what people would consider an actual man, like somebody like Future Gohan, who was always serious and just wanted to, fight for himself on a hardcore level. Now, it's obvious because the difference is nobody held Future Gohan's hand. When everybody died, he was on his own. He had to grow up on his own. He had to get the Super Saiyan transformation and become a teacher to Trunks. Trunks had people holding his hand for a long, long time. Gohan held his hand. He went back in time. Goku and, Vegeta were always there, so he was protected. That's the big difference. He was definitely now strong enough to fight his own battles, as when Cell was defeated and Trunks was brought back to life after being killed, he went back to his own timeline after saying bye to everybody, finished off the androids, and destroyed Cell. Later on, he would go on to fight Deborah and Babidi, and he managed to take them out as well with a little bit of struggle. In the manga, I think it was a lot better. It was way fucking cool. They went in deep in explaining what happened. And it felt more tragic because now the Supreme Kai was dead and you have like all this shit going on. Then Trunks hit the lowest point of his life when Goku Black came around and fucked him and everything he worked so hard for to repair. Now, first let me say, if you don't think Goku Black fucked this man mentally, you are crazy. The androids, at least, were kind enough to make the city look like a city. Goku Black literally made Trunks' future, his city that he worked so fucking hard on repairing, look like a fucking toilet bowl in a goddamn airport. This shit was all shitted up, a fucking barren wasteland, looked so damn dark, so many people died. I feel like at this point he's witnessed more death than he ever has, even with the androids being around, because the androids were fucking around. They were blowing shit up. A lot of time passed. He came back. His city was still somewhat intact. Goku Black said, no, fuck your shit. You're mad as fuck right now. All your shit is gone. And Trunks being broken makes a lot more sense. Now he can't do shit. He went from being the guy who can hold his own to being in a worse horror movie that he's ever been in. And with hope that he can go back in time once more and get some help, shit doesn't go entirely exactly as he wants it to, as his mother is killed right in front of him by the face of the man who helped him back then, the guy who he came to admire. That's fucking crazy. So he goes back in time and he sees Goku, and everybody, but he gets like an immediate flashback of what happened in his timeline after getting his ass heavily beat. So he goes to strike at Goku, but Goku stops him. And at this point, he's literally the broken Trunks briefs. This guy is a fucking mess. And he's kind of in a similar situation back then. When Goku Black comes to the present time, nobody's capitalizing on defeating him. Goku's just fucking around. And he's stuck in a similar position all over again. Then they go back and they get their ass kicked even more. At this point, is fucking ridiculously insane. He gets a little too comfortable with them being around, so Vegeta has to slap some sense into the motherfucker. Like, this guy can't catch a fucking break. All he wanted was peace. It's not like Goku and Vegeta, who are entirely different. Because I can imagine a lot of people saying, well, I mean, he could fight for himself now. He's a lot older. He shouldn't be broken. But Goku is just Goku. This guy lived for fighting. He doesn't give a fuck. Vegeta had to pretty much grow up at a very young age due to his situation with Frieza and everything like that. Gohan would have been a punk bitch too, but he was in a lot of situations where he had to, fight and survive. It wasn't like they didn't have the Dragon Balls or anything like that. With Piccolo dead and in Future Trunks' timeline, there's not much they can do at this point. On top of all of this, it's literally his fault that everything happened like this. So that's even more pressure brought on him, because again, all he wanted to do was get help and save his timeline. He didn't think that the consequence would be this bad, and it was. This is why I actually like the Super Saiyan Rage transformation. This guy fucking had so much bottled up inside that he just fucking lost it. Now, again, there's some problems with this too, because a lot of people were debating if this was God Ki or not. It was confirmed that the name was Super Saiyan Ikari, and there's not much of a mention of God, essence to it. So again, it's fucking, it's hard to debate on. But what we do know is he knows what God Ki is, because Vegeta, he had a Super Saiyan God form, he understood that, and he trained with Vegeta. That's all we know. So you can speculate and say that maybe Vegeta showed him something. We don't know, unfortunately. We should have got it, but I mean, there's evidence there to go by that's pretty much says, okay, there's a possibility. But even with this, he still couldn't take on Zamasu and Black, because they eventually became more of a problem. So we fast forward past the Mafuba thing, which I thought was fucking stupid. The manga did it way better. It made a lot more sense. And we go to the merge Zamasu situation, and oh man, that dark ass fucking ending where Zamasu just wrecked everybody after his physical body was destroyed. Man, that is fucking crazy. Like, that's wow. I remember the first time when I seen that, I couldn't believe that shit. I was like, wow, wait a minute, no happy ending? What the fuck, you kidding me? Like, I wasn't mad, I was just surprised. I was fucking surprised. And now he has to be in a timeline where another him and another Mai exist, and I feel like this is not completed yet. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm one of the many who think that Trunks might have his happy ending. Might not be now, might be later. I mean, first off, you have future Omni King in the present timeline. Trunks is pretty much in a timeline where I wouldn't say he's not welcome, but it's gonna feel kind of fucking weird having another you, and another, version of, your friend or companion or whatever the fuck. That's strange. And I feel like it would be fucking amazing if they patch this up in the greatest way possible. But on the other hand, if they didn't, then I can see why it would fucking suck. But I just feel like it's incomplete, and I feel like this is going to be addressed later on. Now, with that being said, this is why I feel like Future Trunks was not ruined in Dragon Ball Super. I felt that as a character, he's a really interesting guy to look at. And he's been through so much fucking shit, he doesn't catch a break. And his situation is different because he's in a world that didn't have the Dragon Balls anymore. He couldn't even get to New Namek. His mother's dead, and now he has to live with this shit. And also remember, the majority of characters in different series are actually loved. Like the ones who have that deep story, they're loved because they're able to have a hard life and go through the most shittiest moments in time, but then come back in the end and stand tall with a new shining ray of hope. Now let's just hope that, no pun intended with the whole time machine thing, but let's just hope that everything works out and we can get ourselves a pretty fucking good ending with Future Trunks getting everything he lost back. This has been a Dragon Ball Super topic with the Ranting Raven, and I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.